Hello, my name is Valley, and today I'll be showing you how to turn this into this, or this into this, or really lots of things into lots of other things, but you know, it's color basification today. So, as an example base, I'll be using this. The first thing we'll be doing is just EQing it to make it a bit less aggressive. It's not like a general thing, but just for this one sample, it's kind of important. I've already got a processing chain here, as you can see. Basically, I'm just re-enabling things one by one to get to the color base version of it. So the real meat and potatoes of a sound just comes from vocoding the mid frequencies of the bass to a very specific carrier signal. So first I'll enable the frequency splitter and the frequency joiner later in the chain to join frequencies back together. As you can see here, I've got the high end separated out at like 2000 hertz, and the low end is just like a normal sub region. Like, I think I can solo them. That's what the sub sounds like. And that's what the high end sounds like. And the part that we actually want to process sounds like this. That's what's gonna become all tonal. So then I'll enable the vocoder. And we already got it sounding tonal. I'll show you now how to create the carrier signal for this. It's very special. Very special Vital pads. Vital is a free synthesizer, by the way, if you didn't know. It's donationware. Donate to Matt Tateo if you can, because he's a very good developer. So this is a very weird wavetable I'm using here, and I'll show you actually just how to make this from scratch. So the idea is this synthesizer, if you play a really low note with it, note with this synthesizer, it will play a sine wave on that note as if it was just like a sine wave, but it will also play a sine wave of equal volume on every octave above that note. So you can just write out the notes of the scale you want in a low register, and then just sorry, I thought my phone was ringing. And then it will just play all the notes for that, which is for that scale. And then when you vocode the bass's mid frequencies to that, it means that the only notes that actually come through will be in key. That's the idea anyways. So first we'll just delete this default sine wave, like so, and then we'll add the fundamental. Oh, and we'll also change it to show the actual volume rather than just the volume times frequency by going here and changing it from power to amplitude scale. Okay, that should work now. And then I'll add the second harmonic, which is twice the frequency of the first, so that's an octave up. And they look to be, I don't think the scale has changed probably because it looks to me like the second harmonics has less amplitude than the first. You get this problem sometimes. No, I think it's working. Then, to get the next octave up, you need to go to the fourth harmonic, of course, since that's twice the frequency here again. Not very precise today, am I? And then we go to the eighth harmonic. Yeah. And also, I'll just like... Let's see, never mind. There's nothing else to be done. Now did that work? Looks like... Looks funky, but I think it's working. So now to get the next 4 octaves that we need, we'll copy and paste the wavetable into a new oscillator, and then just pitch it up 4 octaves. And that gets us all the octaves which are really spread out in the upper harmonics without having to like find them in here because they aren't labeled for some reason. And now, since we don't want to unnecessarily use 2 wavetables at once, we can just resynthesize them to a single wavetable, just making so the phases are all aligned first. It really doesn't matter though, it shouldn't make much of a difference. Then just right click, and Vital has this cool feature, resynthesize preset to wavetable it's called, and it does just that. It looks funky. I think they really aren't the same volume for some reason, these. We need to clear the phase, so it's all... They should all be phase lined already. Let's just see how it sounds. It sounds about the same as it was before. I'll actually get a different version to I'll get the... I have it saved as a preset, so use that to compare. Mine just sounds a bit quieter, so I'll increase the volume. And I know I also have some like OTT type multiband compression on this, just on default settings for Vital, and then I cut out some of the extreme highs since we won't be needing those, and they'll just be aliasing back down. Remember, we're only doing this to the mid frequencies of the bass. My version of Vital also has like a visual glitch for some reason. It just doesn't update how the filters look, but I am moving the cutoff. And then one last thing is just to add a little bit of high pass filtered pink noise to it. just wrote the pink noise into the filter. That sounds pretty nice. Okay, so now that we've got the curio signal, I've already got it in it. I can see how to do it in Repo, but most of you probably aren't using Repo, so you have to figure out how to route the curio signal into the vocoder in your own DAW. But like, your own DAW should have its own vocoder, which is probably better than Repo's, and it should also. There's probably plenty of tutorials on how to route different sounds in your DAW to each other and stuff. So like, not much point in showing it here. But as you can hear, this isn't the final bass sound yet because there's a lot of unwanted like side effects, I think, to this, which we want to correct for. It makes it kind of smeary. We want to keep it kind of transient heavy, or just keep some sort of a transient on the sound. So to do that, that's what most of the rest of the stuff is for. I actually have a pretty cool trick up my sleeve for this. So first of all, we're losing a lot of stereo, so I just so that's what this kilohertz comb filter is for. It's a free plugin, and it's very good for adding stereo if you just turn on the stereo knob instead of in like around 200 hertz or in like the low mids range. It's only affecting the mid-range signal though, not the rest, since that the high end already has stereo and the sub should be mono probably. And then to make it more snappy, we've got 3 different things. Kilohertz dynamics. The kilohertz plugins, by the way, everything I'm using in this video is like a free plugin that you can get. Kilohertz dynamics, kilohertz gate, and it's all kilohertz for this. Kilohertz transient shaper. And the trick with these is they're literally all just making the sound like more concise and snappy, and making it like hover less, like and decay more. If that makes any sense. But I'm doing a trick where they all have like side chains where we can listen to something other than the signal they're modulating to hitting, and I've set all the side chains to actually listen to the high end, which has been separated out, so that way, since if you feed it a bass which has more dynamic high end than it has mid range, which is most good basses really, in my opinion, like you generally want the high end to fall off faster and not be as compressed. So by listening to the high end, these just act faster, and they sound nicer. That's just a little trick you can use. But it's sounding kind of quiet now, so now I also want to just clip the mid frequencies just by themselves. Just using an instance of G-Clip, another free plugin. Sounding a bit beefier now. It's just Howard clipping and no sampling or anything. This self-vocoding thing up here, I'm not using that because it doesn't sound very good on this, but basically sometimes it can sound good to feed a bit of the modulator signal into the carrier signal itself to keep the sound sounding more like the original. It's kind of a subtle effect here. I like it more off, I think. It sounds a bit cleaner. And then there's not much left except just some mid-high EQ just to make the stereo image sound a bit nicer, and just kilohertz stereo, just boosting the stereo even and more, so it sounds nice and wide. And then just a final clipper to make it sound big and like clipped, so it can fit in like a dubstep song. I'm saying like a lot. Oh, and another cool trick is to help create cool stereo images for your basses and stuff, or just your whole track, is to listen sometimes to just the stereo signal. I know a lot of people will sometimes listen to just the mono signal, and I do that too. It's very helpful. But listen to just the stereo signal, like just the sides, how it cancels out in mono, can be really helpful. Like I've got this kilohertz stereo here on the whole song, and sometimes I'll just like tone down the mids so there's no mono signal, and then that's what you hear like in the sides of your head, and you can tell that like that's a pretty nice sounding stereo image, I think. I mean, I've made better, but like pretty good. And I think that's basically everything. This might have been a pretty bad tutorial, I don't know. If you need anything explained still, just ask me in the comments and I'll do my best to explain. Also, if you have any cool ideas how to further improve this technique, I'd like to hear those, because part of the reason it took me so long to do this video is because pretty soon after coming up with this technique, I became kind of dissatisfied with the results I was getting. Like, if you tweak it a lot, you can get some pretty cool stuff. It doesn't sound like most other color-based stuff. There's a specific sound to it, but I've had trouble making it, fitting it into my workflow. I just haven't made much color base despite inventing this method of doing it, which is kind of disappointing. So try it out on your own music, because that's kind of a whole point of this. I'm not sure what to do with this technique, so it's over to you. Goodbye.